Buenos días, clase de español. This is Señor Irvin, and this is a quick video on third-person verbs. Make sure you take notes as we go along through this, and I will also be giving some examples of the activities that you have to complete at the end. So pay attention. I'll be giving you some free answers out. So first of all, what are third-person verbs? I would write this down. They're just basically a group of verbs that are conjugated, which just means changed, but they're only changed in the third person. I'm going to show you that in just a bit. Third person meaning he or she, or the plural third person meaning they. Let's show you some examples because otherwise it makes absolutely no sense. But before we show you examples, let's go ahead and fill in the appropriate third person pronouns. These are pronouns here that you've been used to using with all of the verbs, but these aren't regular verbs. These are basically irregular verbs. They use a different set of pronouns. So instead of using yo to mean I, we're going to use me. And you've seen this before because you've used the phrase, for example, me gusta. And instead of using tú, we're going to use te. You've seen this one before too because you've seen te gusta or qué comida te gusta. Usted, él, and ella, we're not going to use any of those. Instead, we're going to use the third person pronoun called le. Le. Instead of using nosotros, we're going to use the third person pronoun called nos. Still means we. This one still means he or she or you formal. So it means all of those, okay? So we're just using le there instead of all of these. The last one, instead of using ustedes, ellos, and ellas to mean y'all or they, we are going to use les. And these pronouns are the ones that you have to use with this specific group of verbs, okay? Now, this isn't all verbs, and I'm going to show you the verbs that it actually works with. The most common verb that's a third-person verb is the verb gustar, as in me gusta, te gusta. You've seen that before. You just didn't know why you were using it the way that you were. So, there are a specific set of third-person verbs, and I'm going to show them to you. You go ahead and make sure you write the verb down and then the meaning of it, okay? So let's start off with bastar. Bastar means to be sufficient. Then we have disgustar. It's the opposite of gustar, and it means to hate. Disgustar. Looks like disgusting, right? Doler means to hurt. Now, whenever you use doler, just a pre-warning, you're going to end up changing the O to a UE. And later on, there's a lesson about this type of verb. It's called stem changing verb. But just so you know, I'm going to change it to things like this. Te duele, me duele. It's going to look like this. So you can see the O changed to a UE. Encantar means to love. Faltar means to be missing something. Fascinar means to be fascinating. Gustar, we've seen that one before. It means to like. Importar, to be important or to care. Interesar means to be interesting. Molestar means to bother. Parecer means to seem. And sobrar is the last one on our list here. It means to have something left over. Sobrar. So these verbs, though some of them are AR, you could see, some of them are ER verbs, okay? It doesn't matter. They're all third-person verbs. So we're only going to use them in the third person. What does that exactly mean? I'm going to show you that right now. So let's show you the two ways to basically be able to change these verbs. Let's use gustar as our example. I'm going to put a little arrow over here. There we go, an arrow. And basically, gustar is only going to be used in one of two ways. Let me show it to you. It's either going to be gusta or gustan, and that's it. And we use one, gusta, to say that you like one thing, and we use gustan when you're talking about liking more than one thing, okay? Same thing with any of these other verbs here. You're either going to use it in the third person, so in this case it's gusta, or in the third person plural, and you add an N. So let's try bastar. Let's show you that one. It's either going to be basta or bastan. For disgustar, it's either going to be disgusta or disgustan. For doler, it's either going to be duele or duelen. Encantar is going to be either encanta or encantan. And hopefully you're kind of understanding this, what I'm doing here. So that goes with all of these verbs here, okay? And basically, you're either going to use the singular form of it, the third person singular form of it, or the plural form. The best way to be able to explain how you use this overall is to show you some examples and some sentences. Now, we're going to first pick out a pronoun, so one of these pronouns here, and then we're going to have the third person verb, one of these verbs here. We're going to choose that, and then you're going to have whatever's left of your sentence. So let's do some of these examples and maybe it'll make more sense. Let's do this one. I am missing the yellow pants. Translate from English to Espanol. Let's look at this first part. It says, I am missing. Let's start with this part right here. We have the pronoun I. So we have to go back over here. Which one of these is I? And that one is me, right? So let's start off with that part first. We have me. So that's the part about I. How about this part about missing something? To be missing something is this verb right here, faltar. Okay? So we're either going to use falta or faltan, as I've written there. One of them is singular, one of them is plural. Let's look at what we are actually missing. I am missing the yellow pants. So yellow pants is my object right here. Are yellow pants singular or plural? If you said plural, you're exactly right. So when I write the rest of my sentence here, I'm going to say me faltan, and faltar means to be missing. And I'm going to use faltan with an N at the end of it because it's more than one pant, right? We say pants are plural. Then we're going to say los pantalones, and then we know that we have to match amarillo with pantalones and make it amarillos. This is the correct answer. Let's do another one right here because this one has the pronoun we. We can't use we, the normal one, the nosotros right here. We're going to have to use this one right here, nos. So let's go back up here and let's write nos. And it says love. Which one of these verbs is love? It looks like encantar is. We're either going to use encanta or encantan, depending upon if the item is singular or plural. Well, let's look at it right now. It says we love the blue t-shirt. So it looks like it's only one blue t-shirt. So why don't we just do nos encanta? The t-shirt, we go first. La camiseta happens to be feminine and singular, right? And so we have to match blue with the azul. We don't have to do anything to azul. We just leave it like this. So the most important part as you write these, okay, as you figure out what to say is, number one, what's the pronoun? Choose one of these new pronouns. And then you have to figure out, okay, what's the verb? Okay. And then figure out, is the verb going to be singular or is it going to be plural? Because there's only two forms we're ever going to use. Okay. We're either going to use the third person singular form, as it has here. You could see bastar, bastar, or disgusta, or the third person plural form with an N at the end of it. And you can do that for every single one of these verbs here. Cool. All right. So you have an activity that involves filling the rest of this out. Go ahead and complete that. Adios. Hasta la vista.